Hi guys, welcome to our channel. This is Science Lectures. Thanks for being with us. Consider subscribing and comment please in the comment section and like our channel please. So today we are going to be looking at the cell organelles, and among the cell organelles we are going to look at the nucleus. So let's start off with the nucleus. So the nucleus, the nucleus. So some people can also call it the heart of the cell, or you can call it the big mama of the cell. So the heart of the cell, this nucleus is what we are going to look at. So the nucleus is a double membrane organelle, as we can see. It has two membranes. It has the outer membrane, and the inner membrane. So this is our outer membrane, then the inner membrane. So this double membrane is what we refer to as the nuclear envelope. So it's the envelope of the nucleus. So nucleus, double membrane organelle. But inside the nucleus we have another structure called the nucleolus. The nucleolus, inside the nucleus. Then we have the fluid in which the organelles are suspended, which is called the nucleoplasm. The cytoplasm of the nucleus is our nucleoplasm. Then we have DNA all over the nucleus. So we have also DNA inside the nucleus. But if you're to have a closer look at the nucleus, we have the rough endoplasmic reticulum being continuous with the nuclear envelope, the rough RER, the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Why it is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum? Because it has ribosomes attached to it. So this is a ribosome. Then basic thing to note, the nucleus is present in only and only eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells is where we find this nucleus. The eukaryotic cells is where we're going to find our nucleus. So that is basically the structure of the nucleus. But again, we need to have a look at the functions of each of the contents, of each of the components of this nucleus. First of all, we'll start with, before we start with the functions of each of the parts, we realize that it is a double membrane organelle. So it has this envelope, which is made up of the inner membrane and the outer membrane. So calling it the nuclear envelope. So it is a double membrane organelle. But what is the relevance of these membranes? What is the relevance of having double membranes? First of all, if we have double membranes, they help to protect. They protect what is inside. What is inside a given organelle. They contain other organelles from what is inside a given organelle. We'll go into details in that. But let's first go on with the functions of each of the parts. The first part we'll have a look at is the nucleolus. So the nucleolus, our nucleolus, the nucleolus of this nucleus. The function of the nucleolus is simply to synthesize. It synthesizes, it helps in the synthesis of ribosomal RNA. Or we can just simply say it is used in the synthesis of ribosomes. But it synthesizes ribosomal RNA, which later combines with other proteins, with other simpler proteins to form the ribosome. So that is a function of the nucleolus. That is how important the nucleolus is. Because we know that these ribosomes are helpful in a process called protein synthesis. So we'll need these guys for protein synthesis. Then we are done with the nucleus. Then the DNA. How relevant is the DNA in our nucleus? So DNA, we know that the DNA is like Okay, it is the fingerprint, it is the blueprint for life. Call it a blueprint for life. So DNA basically carries the genetic information or carries instructions for protein synthesis. So it carries all instructions in our body that we need. So DNA is very relevant in this case. It's also found within the nucleus. Then another thing we've seen is the nucleoplasm. That is simply a fluid where these organelles are suspended. Then the pores, we didn't name them pores. These are the nuclear pores. This one is a pore, an opening, the pore. So the nuclear pores, the pore are for transport. Transport is done by the pores. The pores. So what happens? What do we need to transport? Inside the cell, inside the nucleus is where we synthesize messenger RNA from messenger RNA in a process we call transcription. So what happens in transcription? We have DNA, like we have it there in our nucleus, DNA. This DNA will be converted to messenger RNA, and this process is what we call transcription. So transcription leads to formation of the single-stranded messenger RNA, which single-stranded messenger RNA will be transported via the nuclear pore outside the cell. Let's say this is our messenger RNA outside the cell, where it will find the ribosomes and it will finally undergo, this combination will finally undergo protein synthesis. So that is the function of the pores, transportation of materials in and out of the nucleus. Those are the pores. Then what else is very important here? Of course, the double membrane organelle will protect the genetic material of our cell, but it is attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. That is very important to note. Now, another important thing maybe what we need to know also that is very important. In our DNA we have structures. In our nucleus we have structures we refer to as chromatin. So, and chromatin is basically a combination of two things. Chromatin, in fact, chromatin is a combination of DNA and proteins. But these proteins are basically histone protein. So a combination of DNA and the histone proteins will form what we call chromatin. So when a cell, before a cell divides, our cell will have chromatin. But towards cell division, when it is towards cell division, the earlier stages of cell division, the chromatin will condense and form what we call chromosomes. So these chromosomes are what are visible when using a light microscope. So on viewing using a light microscope, you'll see your chromosomes being visible, yet the chromatin structure is not visible because they are just some strands, but chromosomes at least are thickened and condensed such that they can be visible when you view using a light microscope. So this is simply a brief introduction to the nucleus